So you want to learn to crochet? You've come to the right place. I can help you with that. What you need to get started on this project is a crochet hook size H or I and one skein of acrylic worsted weight yarn that you love. Now you need to decide how you are most comfortable holding a hook, like it's a pencil or a pen, or like it's a knife and you're going to cut something or spread butter. A knife hold is actually, I believe, the most common hold. So try that first. Now we need to make a slip knot to begin. We just loop the yarn over the hook and take the tail end and rotate it 360 degrees around so it's back on the side of your right hand and you can grab it. You pull your working yarn over your hook and draw it through the loop. Tighten it up and you've got a slip knot. And if you grab both ends of the yarn, it pops right out. Here's a couple more angles for you to see the same thing. Grab the tail end of your yarn and wind it 360 degrees around. Take your working yarn over the hook and pull through. Now yarn tension is important. I simply put the yarn between my index finger and my middle finger and let the yarn slide through there. That helps the yarn not to be too loose or too tight. It allows you some place to pick up your yarn over the top of your index finger, as you can see, and it gives your thumb and index finger freedom to be able to grab the base of your stitch as you are pulling it through. That keeps your stitch tension and the size of your stitches more consistent. Now it's time to do the foundation chain. You yarn over and pull through a loop. Yarn over, pull through a loop. Yarn over, pull through a loop. Yarn over, pull through a loop. And you're going to see that this begins to form something that looks like a chain. This is called a foundation chain because it's on this chain that you're going to build the rest of your work. So it's important that you practice this and get the chains so that they're relatively even. They don't have to be perfect. Here's another angle for you to check out, but consistent, and you can see that they're working, and the stitches, you don't have some that are great big, you don't have some that are so tiny they almost disappear. You do need this chain to be consistent but fairly loose. So it is a good thing to practice. Most of the people I've taught, I've sent them away at this point to just practice chaining. For this tutorial, we are going to use 15 chain stitches, and it is a good idea at this point to learn to count those. Chains look kind of like a V at the top, and so each V is going to count as one stitch. Now let's try a slip stitch. A slip stitch is used to join two bits of crochet, either a chain like this into a circle, or two pieces of work if you're doing piecework. You simply go through the end stitch, whatever stitch is indicated, use the top arm of that V, pick up a loop and pull it through, both loops on your hook. This connects your work together. Let's see it again. You're going to go into the top arm of that V, yarn over with your working yarn, pull through one loop, pull through the second loop, and you've now connected those two bits. Now let's learn a single crochet. You are going to go into the second V from the hook. You can see there's one V, there's a loop on the hook, one V close to the hook, and the second V, you're going to go through the top arm right there of that second V, go through there to the back side. Pick up the yarn from behind and pull it through to the front. yarn over, and pull through both loops on your hook. Let's see it again in a different angle. Go into the second V from the hook, the top arm of that V stitch, draw up a loop from the back and pull it to the front, yarn over, and pull through both loops on the hook. Here's another angle. Go into the second V or the top bump, grab a yarn from behind and pull it through to the front. Yarn over the hook and pull that yarn through the 2 loops on the hook. You're going to continue this in each stitch along the chain. You're going to go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And you'll do that all the way across the chain. This chain had 15 stitches in it. We skipped the first one, or the last one made, the last chain made, so you should have a total of 14 single crochets on this row when you finish. So go into the next stitch, that top arm, pull through a loop, yarn over, draw through 2, and into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Make sure that when you get to the end of your row that you count your stitches. This is one way to make sure that your crochet work stays even. It doesn't start shrinking. If you skip stitches, you will have work that is not straight on the sides because it's going in. So at this point, you're going to count your stitches, and you count the V's at the top of your stitches. So each V is 1 stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We've gotten them all. We haven't missed anything. Your turning chain is just simply a chain at the end of your row. In this case, we're going to do 2 and then turn our work. And now you can see we're ready to begin to go back on the other side of the work. And this time we will make half double crochets. To make half double crochet, you're going to begin with yarn over your hook. Go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Again, yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. It's okay to talk to yourself as you're learning these things. It helps your brain to kind of get more stimulation, and more the more you stimulate it, the more it's going to help you to hang on to this information and create a real muscle memory that allows you to just pick this stuff up and do it automatically. So go yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. Make sure you get into that very last stitch. It can sometimes be a little bit tight. You might have to work a little bit, but make sure you get that last stitch. There you go. Now, as in every row, it's good to count. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we've got all of our stitches. Time for the turning chain, and this one we'll chain 1 and chain 2 and turn our work. Now we're going to start working on a double crochet. This also begins with 1 yarn over. Then you're going to go into the first stitch at the base of your chain there, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops only, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops on the hook. Let's do that again. Yarn over, go into your next stitch in your row, draw up a loop from back and pull it to the front, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook, yarn over again, and pull through the last 2 loops on your hook. And again. Begin with yarn over, go into your stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You may begin to notice what my hands are doing that is not a basic to the stitch, but I keep my left hand holding onto my work. It also has the yarn tensioned through my fingers, and my right hand, I use my index finger to manipulate the loops on the hook. I can pull them forward where I need them and push them back to get them out of the way. And that also helps me to go through and pull through the right number of loops on my hook for whatever stitch it is that I'm trying to do. You'll see as we get to the next stitch, the treble crochet, how much more important it is for that as well. So you may begin to see how you're doing this and to see what's comfortable to you. You may find a completely different way, but I encourage you, give some different things a try until you find what feels really comfortable for you. And like I said, don't worry about saying these things to yourself or out loud as you're beginning and as you're learning. It helps you to use more of your senses. The more senses you can engage when you're learning, the higher quality the learning will be. And it also helps it to begin to be really set in your memory kind of more permanently. Okay, so we've finished this row. Let's count and make sure we got the right number of stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We've got them. Now we are going to do our turning chain. For a treble is 3 chains, usually. Turn your work. Triple or treble crochet. You are going to begin going into that first stitch at the base of your chain, but you're going to begin this stitch by yarning over twice. So yarn over 1, yarn over 2. Now you're going to pull those yarns back and hold them with your finger and go into that first stitch at the base of your chain. Draw up a loop from back to front, yarn over, pull through 2 loops only. Yarn over again, pull through 2 more loops, yarn over again, pull through the last 2 loops on your hook. You've done the pull through 3 times. That's why it's a triple or a treble. So begin by yarn over twice, go into the next stitch in your row, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over again, pull through 2 loops, yarn over a last time, and pull through the last 2 loops on your hook. Again, keep an eye on what my fingers are doing and how they're working their way up the stitch as I pull through each time. I hope it helps you to see from a little different angles what I'm doing in order to really understand what's going on from front, back, left, right, as far as your hands are concerned. It might even be an option for you to record yourself doing it and see if there's ways that you see, oh, I shouldn't do that, or I should try that, or something like that. And so we finish this last treble crochet there, and you can see that now counting again is always important, but that each stitch that you've learned in this little swatch is getting taller. So the base chain doesn't count as a row, but you've got a row of single crochet, half double crochet, and triple or treble crochets, and each of those get taller as they go. And that's how the designer of whatever pattern you're using is going to use those stitches to build out the design that they want. Okay, you've made this great little swatch. You've learned these 4 different stitches. What do? Yarn over, pull through 2, so it's a chain, but you're going to pull it really tight at the end. And this is how you knot off your work. Grab the center of your loop with your snips and clip. And now pull through your working yarn, and you've got a knot. That will help you to keep your work intact and for it not to pull out just accidentally. So you have made this great swatch. Now what? Exactly. Well, I want you to take this first swatch that you did and put it away to the side somewhere very safe. Now, over the next week or so, I recommend that you work this same swatch probably 5 or 6 times, each time ripping it out and using the yarn over again. If the yarn gets fuzzy and it gets to where it's splitting or it's hard to work with, cut it off, throw it away, and start a new section of yarn. But keep working it till you've done your 6th swatch. Now on your 6th swatch, I want you to tie it off and cut it, and bring out this first one and lay it next to the 6th one. You will be amazed at the progression and the progress and the improvement you've made. It's very encouraging. I would say I don't have the first swatch that I ever made. Obviously, that would be falling apart. But it is really fun, and it is always good to find encouragement in what you're doing. So spend the next week or so doing this practice exercise. And at that point, after you've done it 5, 6 times, put it away. get out some 100% cotton yarn and make the dishcloth that I'll have for you next week, the beginning project. Don't just keep working swatches. They're useless. They're great for practice, but they're not useful. Find some useful projects you could do, and I've got this one for you next week. It's a great kitchen dishcloth, and you need 1 skein of this great cotton yarn, and we'll work through it together, and you will see how easy it is to have a finished project that you can use. So I'll see you next week.